Today we're going to be learning about radial design. So radial design is one of those balance designs where the center dot, you have a repeating pattern that goes outwards around it. We're going to be using our paper today, a pen, markers, a spray bottle, a pencil, and our printing plate foam. So some radial designs that you might find in nature include flowers, seashells, pine cones with the seeds, looking inside a fruit like a kiwi, snowflake, as well as the spider web. There are lots of other radial designs that you might find in human art as well, including kaleidoscopes. So if you don't know what a kaleidoscope is, just take a look at the image that I got from Target that shows a kaleidoscope. You can see radial design in Islamic tiles, Spanish tiles, Tibetan art, and even the windows in Notre Dame. There's a lot of great different pieces of radial design, even in nature, for animals like the pufferfish here. So let's take a moment and we can watch the rest of this video.
Unfortunately, this small Japanese pufferfish is dull, almost to the point of invisibility. But to compensate, he is probably nature's greatest artist. To grab a female's attention, he creates something that almost defies belief. His only tools are his fins. In his head, a plan of mathematical perfection. He ploughs the sand, breaking it up into the finest of particles. These shells aren't just rubbish to be removed. He uses them to decorate the ridges of his construction. He can't rest for more than a moment, but must work 24 hours a day for a week, or the current will destroy his creation. A final tidy up, and his masterpiece is complete. Nowhere else in nature does an animal construct something as complex and perfect as this. If this doesn't get him noticed, nothing will.
All right, so today what we're going to do is you're going to take out, you will have 2 of these in your bags, but you're going to be using what I have as my printing plate. So we're going to put this on the side. And all right, so how do you make a square piece? Because we want to make this exactly a nice square. And if you take a paper, what you want to do, for me, I am just going to fold my paper in half and 1/2 like this, because I want to make a smaller one for mine. And then I'm going to fold it towards this corner like this. And now it has this extra little piece here. So I'm going to cut that off. And when I open it up, I've got this piece, right? So now I've got two perfect squares for me. If I really want to double check it, fold this really nicely in half and make sure that it looks like a triangle. Perfect. So now I've got one square. I can take my piece and I can trace out a perfect shape of a square. So that way I have a nice radial design. And again, the last one that we did was our practice in a rectangular, just to kind of get ideas and more space. This time we're going to use our other piece here. And remember, I'm using smaller ones, so you always have extra things. All right, so using my paper, I have it folded, and this gives me my line of symmetry. And so what I'm going to be doing is drawing the same design between my line of symmetry. So come up with the one that you are most interested in, what makes you happy. There's examples that I have for you as well. And just play with those patterns and designs. It's going to be this cool radial design. So once I have this, look at the examples I gave you, and you can kind of come up with some of your own ideas of repeating the pattern over and over, and that'll help you with your design. So I think for me, I'm going to create my own thing where I come up on this one side here and come down on the other. And same thing, I'm going to go like this. And then I might grow it this way. And don't worry if it's not the same, you just try your best to make it symmetrical or exactly repeating of the pattern. As you can see, when I'm doing this, a typical radial, you'll see it exactly on the other side, but what we're making today is our practice and not an exact radial, and that's fine. So once you're done with this part, what you're going to do now is you're going to take the foam that you cut and you're going to place it on top, okay? And take out a piece of tape, very tiny piece. You don't need the whole thing, just a little bit. Any tape will do. And this will just keep it in place. So I'm just going to gently tape it like this, a little on the edge, like such. And now it's on here, and this allows me to go back and forth to check. So what you're going to do is you are going to take the pen and you are going to draw over this, but push really hard into the foam. And this lets you draw your design onto the foam as best as you can. Once you do everything, go back and check that you did all of your lines. I didn't do the diagonal down the center here. I just wanted to have it where I could see the design this way. So you can check all of that. After you've checked it, if it's still difficult to see, what you can do is take the pen and just go back over what you did. So then you're able to really see it on here if you really want to, and that'll just help you with the ink and all the other things going through. Okay, I double checked everything. I've got this on here. Missed one little spot here. All good. Okay, then you peel this part off and decide where do you want, again, because now it's a square, so now I can have my arrow always being where this rotates perfectly like this, whereas my rectangle didn't, and that's fine. I wanted us to kind of play with our own designs first. So I want this to be almost like a flower, and I'm going to have the arrow to remind me that this is where I want mine to go each time that I'm putting it. So when I'm flipping it over, I know that's where I want it to go. Okay? So use your markers, color it in again, and I'm going to use this space of my paper. Okay, remember when it's time, after you've colored it, you're going to wet your area. So I'm going to get nice and wet. Make sure it's about the size of your piece. Okay, get it nice and wet. I'm going to even it out with my finger. And then I'm going to turn this upside down, match my corner, and gently push it down. Okay, lift it off, and there is my design. If you had too much water in an area, you can always grab your paper towel or a Kleenex that you have, and you can just gently dab it off. I'm going to wipe this off and do it again. So keep repeating it again as you go. You go here, turn it, go here, turn it, go there, and then at the end you'll have a beautiful radial design. Keep going. All right, so now that I've gotten down to my last one, you can see sometimes I need to tilt my paper to kind of spray and get the paper nice and damp and wet, you know, just kind of let it sit there and drink it a little bit. Take your last piece and place it to the best of your ability. Oops, I twisted mine a little bit here, and that's fine. And I placed it down, and voila. So now I've got my radial design, just like the Spanish tiles. You can always keep these and save these. These are like your very own stamps. And now you can see the difference of what happens when you have a perfect square for a radial design and then a rectangle that doesn't give you a radial, but it gives you some symmetrical pieces. So you can always play with both. I like to play with the bigger and the smaller and get different patterns and different ideas. But regardless, have fun. When it dries, you can cut this out and turn it into something beautiful.